A short distance from New Delhi, the country's capital, this luxurious residence is preparing to host one of the most anticipated weddings of the year in the finest Indian tradition. A multicolored scene celebrating the alliance of two wealthy families of the textile industry before nearly 1,000 handpicked guests. The bridegroom wears the latest fashion accessory among the Indian nouveau riche, a necklace of banknotes to assert power and prosperity. Flashing his cash is the guest of honor's favorite activity. This young bearded millionaire, the bride's cousin. Ivan Lutra defines himself as a serial internet entrepreneur. He made a very substantial donation to the couple.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's my brother and obviously, yeah, he did a lot of things. I love him a lot.
Are you proud of all that he's doing?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm so proud of him. Yeah. Very proud of him, actually.
As soon as he takes a step now, he distributes envelopes. At the age of 22, Ivan claims to earn nearly €1 million a month and travels 2/3 of the year out of the country. But he would not have missed the wedding for anything in the world.
I don't want to lose touch with how I was brought up and where I grew up from. You know, that's what they say. It doesn't matter how successful you get, don't forget where you came from. Indian weddings mostly go on for a long time, usually at least a week with 5 or 6 functions, and it means a lot. It's a very excessive, over-the-top affair. So yeah, I look forward to having an big fat Indian wedding. So it's definitely something I enjoy for sure.
One foot in tradition, the other in excess. Tonight, Ivan has invited several foreign friends, entrepreneurs and travelers like him. They share photos and videos on social media for Ivan's fans. The young man has hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram.
This party is insane. What I want to say, Evan, thank you that you have invited me to India. It's one of my best experience I had in my life.
It was great to have you here, no doubt.
Yeah.
Always welcome.
Always welcome. So we go keep partying and taking some drinks and woohoo, all the way up, guys.
Okay, let's go. I can't do it. You have to. Sorry, come on.
Ivan has a taste for parties, luxury and money. He embodies the brazen success of Indian businessmen who are eager to get rich. In India, they're known as the new Maharajahs. Rich, praised by everyone, megalomaniacs, they have nothing to envy of their elders, the old masters of India, even if their style is radically different. Since 2015, India is third in the ranking of the world's billionaires, behind the United States and China. Thanks to the country's tremendous economic growth since the 2000s, there are 4 times more Indian billionaires today than 25 years ago.
The whole palace belongs to us. Usually change my rooms whenever I come here.
While 400 million Indians live below the poverty line, they bring together tradition and globalization with success and excess.
I'm trained for this, that in our Marwadi system, you are trained to get into the family business and you're expected to.
Gautam Singhania, the descendant of an old family of merchants, reigns over the Indian textile industry. His fortune has multiplied by 10 in 10 years.
The champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
The Indian billionaires love expensive toys.
For Mrs. Neeta Ambani's birthday, they spent over 200 crores.
But in the country of Gandhi and Mother Teresa, these insane expenses sometimes have a dark side, especially since the country's masters are also tax evasion world champions.
India's most flamboyant, a willful defaulter.
The king of alcohol, Vijay Mallya, opted for a golden exile to escape tax and prison. We found him in England.
How come that you don't come home for face the justice of your country, for example?
Why should I?
The revolution is that these masters of India are no longer just heirs. This woman is a symbol of this. Kalpana Sarosh came from the caste of untouchables, a marginalized community that lives in poverty. Today, she's the head of a real estate empire in Bombay.
मैंने जो संघर्ष किया इस कंपनी को हासिल करने के लिए, वो बहुत बड़ा संघर्ष है। तो इस संघर्ष को मैं कर पाई, वो इसको मैं हासिल कर पाई, ये भी अपने आप में एक हिस्ट्री है।
Who are these Indian businessmen and women who can't seem to be stopped? What are their secrets? For months, we investigated the very elite circle of the new Maharajahs. Noida, in the suburbs of Delhi. Behind these gates, this residential neighborhood belongs to new Indian fortunes, with secure grounds and private guards. It is on the terrace of his parents' house that we meet Evan Lutra, the young rich entrepreneur.
Fuck. I don't know how to get it back.
Evan is very busy with his new toy, a state-of-the-art drone worth 2,000 euros.
Fuck. Don't have it fly on the roof. ढूंढना खड़े क्या हुआ है? पता नहीं हटा हुई.
Is it broken or?
I think it may be broken, but you'll have to see when we try to fly it again.
It is in this luxury duplex with its breathtaking view of the capital that Evan lives with his mother and father. His family belonged to the Sikh community, a religious minority known for its business acumen. His father, an entrepreneur, made his fortune in the fashion and textile industry, and this young man chose to follow in his footsteps very early on. At the age of 12, he created his first smartphone app. He stopped his studies after high school to continue founding companies. He summarizes his goal in a series of figures.
These are goals that I set for myself, that by 21, I want to be making $1 million a month, which I'm pretty close. By 23rd, I want to be at $1 million a week, and by 25, $1 million a day.
As he aspires to become a billionaire, the busy young man boldly displays his success, as if to bring fortune. Evan loves everything that shines and sees it as an investment.
I got him. I love gold and black. These are two of my colors, which I really like. So I got this solid gold iPhone 7 made because I'm always on my phone. I paid £10,000 for this, but when I sell it, it's probably going to sell for a lot more than 10,000 in a couple of years because it's just an asset.
Reptile skins are another of his weaknesses, with a touch of gilding, of course.
Yeah, it's all python. It's kind of illegal in India to wear python. I would go to jail for this. But I mean, I'm pretty sure nobody really cares, and there's a lot of people flooding this jewel in the open. So yeah, I mean, this bag is about $8,000. But it's the thing is, it doesn't lose its value. I could sell this bag again, probably would sell for a lot more, especially because my initials on it now.
Arrival at the headquarters of the family business, home to the young man's office. The secret to Evan's success is the surge of services for mobile phones and cheap labor. He has a team of computer specialists in the basement of the building, all specializing in the creation of mobile apps. This morning, he is focused on improving a new project.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to add a new feature. So we have already got the user login enabled, right? We want to make a profile function for the user where the user can see his own profile and see which is his past bookings. Can you give an estimate of how long it will take to build this out?
Around a month.
Bottle Pop, his very latest development, targets the golden youth of large capitals.
A Bottle Pop is to book tables at nightclubs. Let's say if somebody wants to go out and with their friends and they want to have a table, VIP table for themselves, get a good service, and they intend to spend money. This app allows you to book a table with a click of a button.
To make more money quicker, Evan also buys ideas from others. He has bought shares in several dozens of startups, benefiting from some of their profits and watching his money grow.
My $90,000 that I invested is worth now over $2 million in that company. So that's how I look at it. And that's a 20x return instead of getting like 0.2x return.
He got his entrepreneurial mindset from his father, a fashion entrepreneur. He is the one who provided Evan with an initial investment to start him off. This workshop produces clothing for American ready-to-wear brands. At first skeptical, Evan's father is now amazed by his son's lightning trajectory.
Yeah, he's doing far better than we can imagine. I would say like that. At his age, there are kids, who even don't know what to do. But he, on his own, he knows at least he has an aim in life. This is what I want to do.
While the son's success delights his father, his spending is a different matter. Religion and tradition hold an important place in his family, a different generation, different way of doing things.
As long as you are in India, show off is not a good thing. Abroad, it's fine because nobody is bothered. In India, today you buy a big car, next person next door will say, oh, he has bought a big car. Last year, 240 days, he was out of India. So fine, at least 120 days that you are in India, at least you can spend for a couple of hours, following your traditions and all. The mother is, always behind it. At least follow some tradition, like that. Yeah.
Traditions will have to wait. The young man is organizing his next trips to Europe and the United States, where he will be able to satisfy his overindulgence.
Yes.
The Indian nouveau riche love of glitz and glamour takes after the old masters of the country, the real Maharajahs, whose wealth was measured by the splendor of their palaces. Today still, they own vast estates in Rajasthan, the kingdom of the great Rajput families. This is one of Rajasthan's most beautiful palaces, which belongs to the Alzizar family. Cousins of the Maharajahs of the city of Jaipur, the Alzizars have ruled over these lands for almost 3 centuries. Now they're trying to preserve their royal lifestyles.
जाने पर वापस डाउन हो जाते, फिर मुड़ के आते हमारे हुआ फिर लगा देते।
कुछ नहीं करना है, ब्रेकफास्ट ले आओ जाके। They'll just go quickly get the breakfast.
32-year-old Abhimanyu, the eldest of the family, always begins his day in the same way, with silverware and waiters in uniform, a meal at the foot of his bed with his younger brother.
They're coming in the car, so if I go down and have breakfast, then everybody's coming to meet you. There's so much of work happening, and I hate that. I feel your first meal should be in absolutely silence and only people you want to be with, so that then you can plan your whole day, what to do and when to do and how to do it.
Abhimanyu's father transformed the palace into a hotel 15 years ago, entrusting its management to his eldest son. Some 50 rooms at 150 euros on average. Abhimanyu studied hotel management in some of the country's biggest palaces. He is very picky.
I usually change my rooms whenever I come here. Stay in a different room every time I come. I believe in there are a lot of advantages to it. When people come to Alzizar Mahal, they should feel, they should live those 2 days of that life of how I live. So that's the reason if you see the palace, every room is absolutely different and showcases my life and my style and my passion for whatever I do.
The family promises a Maharaja's holiday, but the maintenance of this 17th century palace costs a fortune, especially since this young man wants only the best.
So this is the main Darbar hall of the palace. And this is where people used to come and meet my grandfather. And you'll see all of them out there in paintings. We've used in about 14,000 pieces of gold leaf to renovate this room back to its glory. And it took me about a year to finish this job.
For the gold leaf alone, the family had to part with several tens of thousands of euros. To pay these vast bills and to differentiate themselves from other hotels set up by other aristocrats, Abhimanyu came up with a rather wild idea to hold an electro music festival in his palace, a first. This morning, several hundred people are at work. The concerts begin in less than 24 hours in different areas of the palace.
This is the console from which magic's going to happen. Nice, now this stays the same. Brilliant. What are you doing with the...
Snap back. Yeah. We'll angle the edge down.
So the top boxes in. Okay, it's hitting here. Oh, nice.
The idea for the festival came to him with the help of a rock and roll star who was also a savvy businessman.
We were having a drink together with Babji, me and Mick Jagger, and Babji said that, you know, his father just recently gifted both the sons the main palace of Alcesar. And so, wow. So he said, oh, you should do a festival there. Chale Dhruv.
A few hours before the arrival of the first festival goers, Abhimanyu goes on an inspection tour in his jeep, just like the ancient princes who visited their lands.
ये इस पूरे एरिया की कल सफाई होनी चाहिए। अभी ये सारा कचरा पट्टी हो रहा है। हाँ।
The prince asked young artists to decorate the village walls.
Beautiful, beautiful. पहली बार है ना लोग बाग ऊट पटांग छोरे चपाटे घूम रहे थे यहाँ पे। मेरे को छोरे चपाटे नहीं चाहिए।
The inauguration must be up to par. 3,000 music fans are expected, mostly young, trendy socialites from the capital who have spent more than €100, a significant sum in India.
We've pitched in about 700 tents this year. And you have the palace right there.
The festival's reputation has reached beyond India's borders. For its third edition, some 40 DJs answered the prince's call, coming from all over the world. These two experimental artists arrived from Luxembourg. The festival is just getting started. We come across some French people in the crowd, dazzled by Abhimanyu's hospitality.
Et vous connaissez le prince avant?
Non, pas du tout. C'est le prince. Enchanté, le prince. Tiens, c'est lui donc le propriétaire des lieux.
Ouais.
C'est magique, hein, le lieu, il a l'air magique, l'endroit, la décoration, en plus c'est le désert autour, c'est complètement ça, c'est magnifique.
The prince's aim is to get people talking about Alcesar. Today, his goal has been achieved.
Music gives me an high, especially when it's playing at my home. After all, Alcesar is getting popular. Mahal obviously comes along, but the village is what needs to get popular.
The music-loving prince's next challenge is the organization of a traditional music festival in another of the family's palaces. While the Indian kings were among the largest fortunes in the world at the beginning of the 20th century, they must today make room for fortunes which started from nothing. Descendants of the servant castes or even from untouchables, the lowest caste in Indian society. A fate that calls Slumdog Millionaire to mind. In this village, 10 hours drive from Bombay, most people live from the land in endemic poverty. Yet it is here that one of the most incredible cases of social mobility in modern India began. This village saw the birth of Kalpana Sarosh, today the head of a real estate empire worth €300 million. Her father was a police officer and her family owned no land.
This is the house.
मेरा संबंध ये है कि मेरा जन्म यहाँ पे हुआ है इसीलिए ये घर रखा हुआ है कि याद आए कि हम इस मिट्टी से जुड़े हैं और मतलब यहाँ जीरो थे और आज हीरो बन गए हैं आसमान तक पहुँचे.
The only inhabitant of this mud hut is her 85-year-old aunt who doesn't want to leave despite her niece's wealth.
मिट्टी का चूल्हा है और इसमें लकड़ी से जला के खाना बनाती है मेरी मामी बनाती है और खुद अपना खाना खुद बनाती है खुद जाके पानी लाती है वो डिपेंड नहीं रहती आज भी उसको अच्छा नहीं लगता कि वो किसी बहू के ऊपर डिपेंड रहे बेटे के ऊपर डिपेंड रहे तो खुद अपना कमाती है खुद अपना खाती है कशी बड़ी है इसना बड़ी है ना
Her return to the village may bring a crowd, But Kalpana was born with an enormous handicap. She grew up in a community that has always been marginalized, the untouchables.
ये जो हम लोगों को ये जो गटर दिख रहा है, इसके इस पार जो है ये वही जिसको कुंभीपुरा कहा जाता है, ये स्वर्णों का है और ये जो है इस पार जो है ये बुद्धिस्ट लोगों का है.
In India, the untouchables are the lowest in the Hindu social hierarchy. A shunned population considered impure and confined to the most unpleasant jobs.
तो हमारे दादाजी जैसे कि किसी पाटिल के घर में काम कर रहे हैं, तो पाटिल के घर में हम भी बच्चे हैं तो हम चले जाते थे ना, तो उनको ऐसे बाहर मतलब बिठाया जा रहा था, वो चूल्हे तक नहीं जा सकते थे. एक उसका एरिया है, वो यहीं बैठेंगे, चाय देना है तो कोई ऐसे कप में देंगे, जो कप उन्हीं के लिए अलग रखा जाएगा, ग्लास होगा पानी देंगे तो वो भी इस तरह से.
Kalpana regularly returns to her village to organize charity days. This morning, she's inaugurating a temporary medical camp which offers free ophthalmological care and glasses. The nearest hospital is a 2-hour walk away from here. Today is a real luxury for the villagers.
मैंने काफ़ी गरीबी भी देखी है, तो गरीबों के क्या प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं तो वो सॉल्व करने चाहिए. जो भी वक्त मुझे मिलता है तो वो मुझे अपने समाज के लिए, अपने देश के लिए करना, हर नागरिक का वैसे फर्ज बनता है कि अपने देश के लिए वो कुछ करे.
Eye care, health examinations and blood donations. Kalpana takes care of everything. A banquet is even served in a tent put up for the occasion. The village takes on a festive air around the nation's child. She even serves the meal herself.
तो उसमें आम है वो रख देने का, या अंडे होते थे वो रख देने का, तो हम लोग सब चुरा के खा लेते थे. कराना शुरू कराना लोकांनी यावेळेस कढी वगैरे थोडंसं.
Kalpana Sarosh's story is one of a young girl who rebels against a destiny which was written for her. Married at the age of 12, she went to live in a slum and suffered violence from her in-laws. Her father got her a divorce, but her return to the village was difficult.
तो यहाँ आने के बाद में भी लोगों को, क्योंकि लड़कियों का यूँ आना लोगों को बर्दाश्त नहीं होता है, आज भी नहीं होता, तो 50 साल पहले तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता था, है ना, तो 40 साल पहले समझो, तो लोग जो है वो तरह तरह की बातें करना या तरह तरह का टाउंट करना, तो जिसकी वजह से मुझे पॉइजन पीना पड़ा. तब फिर हमने सोचा कि नहीं चलो ठीक है, हम कुछ करके दिखाएंगे दुनिया को, और हमने अपना सफ़र शुरू कर दिया. तो काफ़ी स्ट्रगल इस तब से शुरू हो गया.
At the age of 16, Kalpana decided to leave for Bombay, with some savings in her pocket and her only talents as a seamstress. Working in a garment factory, she patiently saved a small sum. She used it to buy a metal plant and invest in real estate. Her first move was to buy a piece of land in the north of the city. She resold it at a premium price, taking advantage of soaring prices.
मैं न्यू प्रमोटर बोलकर मैं वहाँ गई, मैं महिला हूँ, मैं दलित हूँ, ये एक हिस्ट्री है, क्योंकि दलित को तो पहले से ही दबा कुछ ये कर दिया गया. उसके बावजूद मैंने जो संघर्ष किया इस कंपनी को हासिल करने के लिए, वो बहुत बड़ा संघर्ष है. तो इस संघर्ष को मैं कर पाई, वो इसको मैं हासिल कर पाई, ये भी अपने आप में एक हिस्ट्री है.
Kalpana, whose audacity and courage have overcome prejudice and exclusion. This is also one of India's secrets, a country where everything's possible. Although today she is the head of DBTP, a powerful real estate and construction materials group, Kalpana is against flashing wealth, which she finds indecent given how she grew up. It's from this modest office in the center of Bombay that she continues her investments.
तर ते सगळा ढाचा तिथे तयार करतील आणि हे आतमध्ये जे आहे तर 150 रूम ना मीन्स 5 स्टार नाही करता येणार कारण 5 स्टार करायला गेलं तर तेवढी जागा आपल्याकडे तशी नाही आहे. एक गोष्ट 30 करोड रुपये आपण त्यांना द्यायचे म्हणजे हे सगळं ते आपल्याला तयार करून देतील. ओके
आपलं जे हे हेरिटेजचं आहे ना तर हेरिटेजमध्ये आपण हे
Kalpana works with her daughter Seema, who graduated from a London university. The 30-year-old has decided to follow in her mother's footsteps.
फील आहे बिल्डिंगचा तर तो आपण थोडासा स्टोन टाइपच दिलाय.
स्टोन असे असतील.
अपार्ट फ्रॉम बिझनेस सेंटर्स आपल्याला एक स्टार्टअप कॅफे खोलायचं आहे की त्याच्यामध्ये लोक त्यांचे आयडियाज घेऊन येतील. टी कॉफीवरच जास्त करून सगळे बिझनेस आयडियाज डिस्कस होतात. त्यांचे इन्व्हेस्टर्स येतील.
Seema Saroj's project is the development of this building in downtown Bombay. It's part of her mother's real estate. The property's value is 120 million euros.
I think we have a plus point in our building that we can able to see the Docklands there, the BT station that side. We have Taj the other round. So I think it's amazing. I think people will love to sit here and, enjoy the evenings.
At the age of 30, Seema's career as a businesswoman has already been laid out. But unlike billionaire heirs, Seema knows the sacrifices her mother had to make to get there.
I think she never, me and my brother, she never informed what is she facing or what is she going through. She always showed us the happy, loving mother. Never informed what all she has faced to achieve this. And today, when people like you come and take the interview, from her interview we came to learn that how difficult it was for her to achieve all this.
Despite the multi-million-dollar projects that they manage, the Saroj family has not locked itself away in a bubble of luxury. No grand apartments in chic neighborhoods. The family live in this building in the northern suburb of the city. On Sundays, Kalpana entertains at her home in complete simplicity. Her door stays open all day for family and neighbors, but also for the poor who come to ask for her help.
तर नाही का ते सुभाष ते टॉक शो मध्ये पण मग त्या पोरीचे फक्त फोटो आणलाय का? अच्छा.
This couple come from her village. They have just traveled 15 hours by bus to inform her of the marriages of their 2 daughters.
तर ते तुमच्या लग्नासाठी जे पोरीच्या लग्नासाठी पाहिजे तर हे 50,000 रुपये आहे. ठीक आहे. ठीक आहे. आणि पायापडा घ्या आणि पायापडा बस म्हणजे झाला विषय संपला. ठीक आहे. सुखी रहा.
50,000 rupees or nearly 700 euros. For this family of farmers, it's the equivalent of a year's income.
हाँ बस. वो अभी वो रो रहा है. खुशी के आंसू.
आप क्या करेंगे इसके साथ आपकी बेटी के लिए?
शादी करेंगे. जाने के बाद शादी करना पड़ेगा. मतलब वगैरह किराना वगैरह करना. हमारे भगवान ही है. हम भगवान ही मानते हैं.
और एक बार बताइए. सॉरी.
भगवान मानते हैं. गॉड लाइक गॉड.
नहीं वो बताया वो जो कैमरा नीचे था.
Because of her origins, Kalpana Saroj, the philanthropist, is an exception in the world of the Indian nouveau riche. She has not yet reached the level of the highest fortunes, which are worth billions. Among these new tycoons, everything is about excess, and it's all part of the show. Wide sandy beaches lined with coconut trees. Goa, on India's west coast, is a playground for billionaires who want to escape the big cities for the weekend. But however beautiful it may be, when you are called Singhania, the beach is too small.
It's a weekend with my school friends. We do this once a year when all the friends who live abroad all come down.
Gautam Singhania is one of the most famous billionaires in India. He manages the country's largest clothing brands. At the age of 50, the textiles king's fortune is estimated at $1.5 billion. When he goes away for the weekend, it's on his yacht, a Shena, a 50-meter-long 3-story floating palace built entirely out of precious wood. He sails this luxury across the seas as and when he desires, from the Indian Ocean to the Mediterranean.
Actually, I enjoy taking the boat to the Maldives. Maldives is beautiful, but we haven't been in a long time, but we'll probably get there soon. The saffron season is in July, August. which is the best time. And obviously we can't come to Goa at that time of the year because of the monsoon. India's season is not there, so you got to do a little bit of everything.
It's only 11 a.m., but the party has already started. The weekend always begins with the chef's cocktail.
He's in a good mood. He's put less water today.
I'm in a good mood. I'm always in a good mood.
See, you're bloody Mary. No. You're bloody Mary is big pain.
I'm not going to waste so much water on the bottle.
Bloody Mary.
Don't make it too strong, then it'll become too distinct. Yes, ice is too cold. Relax, man.
For these old school friends, the weekend in Goa is a reunion not to be missed. The breakfast especially. The menu includes truffle omelette, caviar, Japanese chocolates, and fine vintage wines.
The champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
8 or 9 years old, 40 years in the making. Right, Gautam? About 40 years in the making, 42 years. Something like that, roughly. Long years. Yeah.
Gautama organized this trip himself and brought in goods from London by plane. This weekend, he opens the doors to his billionaire lifestyle to his closest friends.
Does Gautam like luxury?
No, he likes super luxury.
In what sense?
He's achieved what he has, so he obviously wants the best available wherever. Whether it's Bombay, Goa, yes, he loves luxury. It's not easy to lead this lifestyle. It's easy to say, I wish I had a yacht or I wish I had an aircraft, but I know a lot of the millionaires and billionaires. I don't know many who do what he does.
By the end of the morning, the group of 50-somethings have already fallen back into adolescence. It is only the size and the style of the toys that has changed. Goa has become the stomping ground of India's billionaires, and that's because it is right next to their city, Bombay. The mega city, with a population of over 20 million, accounts for more than half of the country's super-rich. Their latest whim is to have towers built in the heart of the city. Some have been estimated at more than €1 billion. These 37 stories, which dominate the seafront, are Gautama Singhania's future residence. The only part of the tower that has been built at the moment are these 2 levels, dedicated to the family business, textiles, and their famous brand, Raymond. This company is a beast of €70 million of annual turnover, 60% of market shares, and 3,000 shops across the country. Today, the group's big boss inspects his brand's flagship.
How are your sales doing?
Doing great, sir. We've done around 2 crore 11 lakh rupees. Yesterday we finished our target.
For November?
Yes, we've achieved 100% sales.
Now, how are your fabric sales going?
Amazingly well. We have a growth of around 4 to 5% over last year.
And new shirtings, how are the new shirtings?
We've done really good and it's sold out within 2 to 3 days.
Really?
The printed shirt especially, yes.
That's very good.
The Raymond brand was launched by Gautama's family at the beginning of the 20th century. It was losing momentum when he took his father's place in the CEO's chair in 2000. The acclaimed company was in need for a dusting off, a diversification. Thanks to Gautama, today Raymond is high-end and has increased in value.
So this would be about 3 lakh rupees a meter. So Switzerland would be about 14,000 euros for just the fabric for a suit, and then the stitching, etc. Raymond is a brand, it really sells from 250 rupees a meter to 300,000 rupees a meter across the range. And we say, from the taxiwala to Mr. Tata, everybody wears the Raymond brand.
In his stores, the Indian textile boss wears a suit and tie, but outside work, he prefers sportswear. That's because a day in the life of Gautama Singhania is a sprint from start to finish. And to get around Bombay the quickest possible way, he takes his helicopter, the best way to avoid the traffic. In the north of the city, the company's headquarters, a true American-style campus for the 1,500 employees who work there, between royal palm trees and impeccable lawns. Here, the Singhanias have reigned supreme since they bought the old wool factory in the 20th century. So when the boss arrives to prepare a new collection, tension rises a notch.
To give the presentation to our CMD is very difficult because he's the person who is always looking for new developments, and he has got the brilliant taste of the fabric. Looking at the fabrics, he will be able to tell you whether the fabric is from 180s or 200s, or it's from Vaikona or the Pashmina or the Kashmir.
The boss arrives. His team has 30 minutes to convince and surprise him.
And this is what you are offering, this is what you are. We are also not looking for only one category. Technosmart can be one feature, and we can develop many product categories under this. Our next development in Technosmart. Technosmart next.
Let me tell you what it is. Higher synthetic than wool नहीं है इसमें. थोड़ा है.
Absolutely, sir, absolutely.
25-30%.
The Indian textile prince is now at the heart of the family business. It is these woolen fibers that his family has worked on for a century that made him king. Like any good sovereign, Gautama Singhania has his court and his protocol. This is the antechamber of power. Behind this door, the throne room has all the glory of this billionaire and his family.
I'd rather put up memories or pictures on my walls than put up, paintings, which have no meaning to me.
The Singhanias are an old family from the Rajasthan province. They are part of the Marwari community, merchants among the richest in the country.
When you were growing up, did you always have this image in your head that you were one day going to be taking over this company? Were you groomed for this role?
Yeah, I think from childhood you've been trained for this, that, in our Marwari system, you are trained to get into the family business and you're expected to do that. So whether it was dinner conversations or weekend conversations, a lot of conversations revolved around business, so you sort of learned that way. Our Marwari family, we all come from Rajasthan, from a small part called Shekhawat, and therefore we're called Shekhawati Marwaris. And for some strange reason, the Shekhawati Marwaris have all gone out and become big businessmen.
A flair for business which seems alive in the Singhania family.
My elder daughter is very, very keen on running the business. She's been coming here since the age of 5, trying to attend meetings. She walks around the office and asks around, and very inquisitive. So it's good, but let's see. She's very young.
A woman at the head of the group would be an earthquake in this world of men attached to their history and their traditions. For the Marwaris, it is family and community that take precedence. At the end of the CEO's day, Gautama Singhania likes to relax, without slowing down the pace. He built his own race circuit on his company's campus. Total cost of the cars and the track, nearly 250,000 euros. This discipline that he wants to launch in India is called the drift. It is the art of controlled skidding and engines that roar.
We want to promote the sport, so we just do this maybe 2 or 3 times a year, where we tell people come and drift, and it's not a category-wise or anything of that sort. It's just, bring whatever you got. And people have this enthusiasm to take out some adrenaline, and so they come and do it on the track.
Are you the godfather of drift in India?
I don't say godfather, but I'm probably the only drifter from India.
Far from high-end textiles and suit jackets, it is here that this speed demon gets his adrenaline rush. This taste for danger fascinates the Indian media, who are accustomed to the billionaire's escapades.
He's the only person in India who has passion for speed and who can afford this passion, and he has 4 drifting cars and then Ferraris, Lamborghinis, the best of the cars.
2 years ago, Gautama Singhania decided to treat himself to the thrill of a true automobile competition.
Indeed we do, as they're up to the timing line. Gautam Singhania has converted that pole position into P1 and will deny Jacques Diver. Singhania with a perfect start, and Eric Prinot has got ahead of Diver.
Despite his responsibilities, he has taken the time to travel the world to live out his dream and fly the colors of the Indian flag.
We'll head now to take the checkered flag. Singhania wins from Prinot, P2.
The entrance ticket to this Sunday sport event costs €1 million. At that price, the souvenir video looks like the trailer for an action film. For his first year, the novice finished 4th worldwide. This evening, he celebrates his season at this chic club in the center of Bombay, where the owner himself remembers the scale of his exploits.
Having said that, I have to tell you, it's probably one of the most competitive forms of motorsport I have ever seen. It's infinitely more competitive than Formula One.
No more turnovers or associates. Gautama Singhania, the racer, celebrates in style with a crown of admirers. Ultra-ambitious megalomaniacs, the Maharajahs of today, see themselves as the heroes of modern India. But in the country of Gandhi, where 40 million children still suffer from malnutrition, some of these new Maharajas manage to avoid paying taxes. India ranks #1 in the world for tax evasion. More than €500 billion are allegedly hidden abroad.
India's most flamboyant, a willful defaulter.
How does a business baron who owes banks thousands of crores of rupees get to leave the country?
Now his passport has been revoked by the government.
The icon of these tax evaders is Vijay Mallya, the boss of Kingfisher Beverages, nicknamed the Indian Richard Branson. He is a fan of luxury and beautiful women, and now he's on the run. After having made his fortune in the alcohol business, the party king wanted his own planes. He launched an upscale airline as the Indian skies were already overloaded. The rise in oil prices ended up sinking his dream and deepening his debt. All of Vijay Mallya's Indian property was supposed to be put up for auction to pay his creditors. Villas, planes, cars. But several months after the billionaire's flight, his collectible cars still shine behind the windows of this building in New Delhi, like a mockery to the tax office. Using hidden cameras, we discover Dr. Mallya's secret garage.
Nice to meet you. Pleasure.
40 gleaming luxury cars make up this great collector's a small museum.
He wouldn't drive those cars, Dr. Mallya.
No, he doesn't.
No? You would have what? A driver and
He is lifted to us.
How much do you think would this whole cost?
Here itself would be about between 50 crores.
50 crores.
Yes.
The mechanic tells us that there is another bigger warehouse in the south of the city, and no hint of a seizure to pay back his debts.
no one came for eventually to visit, to see them, to buy? No?
We don't allow anyone.
But it belongs to Dr. Mallya or to the company?
The company is his only.
The company belongs to Dr. Mallya. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is his.
Yeah, that's still his toys.
He left these jewels behind when he took the road to exile, or rather, to his golden retirement. We went to find him. We traced him back to France, to the Côte d'Azur. Just off Cannes, he's the owner of one of the most beautiful residences in the region, on Île Sainte-Marguerite, also one of the most expensive. His villa and its huge garden is estimated between 30 and 40 million euros. For the island's inhabitants, the extravagant high roller is a normal resident, but not an ordinary one. He has managed to get himself a few privileges.
Il se déplace comment dans l'île?
En voiture. Voiture ou camionnette.
Mais c'est une île piétonne, non? Il n'y a pas de véhicule?
Oui, mais c'est le seul qui est autorisé.
On sait qu'il a 2 gros bateaux dans le coin aussi. A priori, il aurait un bel appartement à Monaco. Je pense que tout va bien pour lui de ce côté-là.
While this huge garden is his haven of peace, Monaco is his stomping ground. Parties that he organizes during the Formula One Grand Prix have remained in everyone's memories, like this one 3 years ago. Because Vijay Mallya loves a party, in all its excess. Clément de Souza was his private DJ for 20 years. These parties he lived from the inside.
I play for his parties in Monaco during the F1. So that's when we're on the yacht. He's got a huge 100-foot yacht. He's flown me a couple of times in the past in his private jet because he decides sometimes last minute, I want to have a party. And he actually has a full-fledged nightclub inside his villa in Goa. I played for his 50th birthday, which was a huge celebration in Goa. Enrique Iglesias, Lionel Richie all flew down to wish him and stuff like that. 4 days of non-stop events.
This party lifestyle stopped 1 year ago when the high roller fell with a crash. When he left India, he sought refuge in London, so he went there. Vijay Mallya has been a British resident for more than 20 years. He was attracted to England and its tax system. Today, he takes advantage of its discretion. Our request for an interview went unanswered. The billionaire hides away behind the walls of his manor in North London. But we finally caught sight of him last March when the Formula One season started again. Vijay Mallya's little indulgence. He couldn't resist the urge to show up with his new car in front of cameras from all over the world. The exiled billionaire only comes out of his silence to talk about his favorite sport, his passion. The strategy is clear. Mr. Mallya has done nothing wrong.
I do not owe €1 personally to any bank. Kingfisher Airlines Limited unfortunately closed down the business and they tried to hold me personally responsible.
You come home to face the justice of your country, for example.
Why should I? First of all, there has to be a proper legal charge against me, which there isn't. All right?
Vijay Mallya lies without a hint of remorse. A judicial procedure for non-payment was launched over a year ago. And a few days after filming, the king of the alcohol business was arrested by Scotland Yard for several hours. He awaits extradition to India. But the fall of Vijay Mallya does not frighten the Indian nouveau riche. Evan Lutra, the young millionaire, sees himself high in the rankings of India's largest fortunes, those in the billions. It is in London that we also find him, in a bling-bling gold 4x4, marketing his new application Bottle Pop.
London is the best market for bottle pop, There's just too many people spending too much disposable income on bottles that they don't remember the next day, including myself. You go out and people will obviously be buying more and more champagne bottles with the sparklers. Because they do it, the girls come to the tables and that's what they want. They want people to show off. It's a shallow society. It's always a competition because everybody can see everybody. But the app makes a commission whatever our clients spend. So that's how we make money.
With Bottle Pop, Evan can earn nearly €20,000 commission for each soirée. This money, which flows freely in London, the European finance capital, is what attracts more and more Indian fortunes here.
Hey, Siva. What's up, man? How are you? Good. Man, Indian businessmen have taken over London like crazy, Lakshmi Mittal, he's one of the biggest residences in here. He's from India. Tata is an Indian businessman. He's the largest private employer in all of the UK. An Indian company is the biggest private employer. Nice to meet you.
Evan spends a lot of time in London, also to find new business ideas, no matter where. Tonight, he has a meeting at a fairground with Stan, a young French 17-year-old. He is looking for funding for his project, a virtual reality headset for medical students. It teaches them how to operate in almost real conditions.
So if I'm wearing the headset,
exactly,
what am I seeing? I'm seeing a body next to me.
You're seeing a body next to you,
and this doctor who's operating on the body.
Doing it, and you would see it, and you look at the experience, and through looking, you learn.
You gotta have a number in your mind. You gotta know how much money you need.
We're not gonna say a huge amount because 80k to start, really well.
80k pounds.
Yeah.
And where does the 80k pounds go?
80k pounds goes in salary.
For the young Frenchman, this meeting is very important for the funding of his project.
On sait très bien qu'il s'est quand même bien débrouillé, il a 20 ans, il a quand même déjà beaucoup d'argent, il est déjà très connu sur les réseaux sociaux, on peut voir ça, etc.
Ivan is seduced by the idea. He suggests they meet again quickly.
Yeah. I have some friends in London. We have a fund that's just investing in VR companies. That's why I actually had the meeting with you. We're looking for deals all the time. So if you can send me a pitch deck, it doesn't matter where you meet them, it's matter what's in the brains. Exactly. You could meet me in a fucking toilet, but if you make me $1 million, I'll sign up right now.
A few weeks later, Ivan will invest 580,000 euros in the young Frenchman's startup. The millionaire does not merely want to reign supreme in India, but to count, to be known and to be recognized around the world. These new Indian Maharajas are only at the beginning of their reigns. Next year, some 20 new billionaires are expected to boost India's place in the rankings of the world's biggest fortunes.